it's Michelle from Weekend Craft here, and today we are taking a look at the Vevor Auto Heat Press for hats. Now, this is a very budget-friendly heat press if you're looking for one to do hats, whether it's like for your small business or if you are doing it just for your own personal crafting. So while we're filming this video, this heat press is only $117.99. So to find an auto press or an actual press that's not handheld for a hat press under kind of that $120 mark is really remarkable. So we are going to put this to the test today. I'm gonna get my heat gun out so we can test the temperature of the heat plate here. We're gonna switch out the platens. I'm gonna show you guys how to do that. And I'm just gonna bring you through kind of how to set up the machine and how to use the controllers. Then we are going to take a hat. I kind of got this hat at like a trade show. So we're gonna put a patch over the embroidery on it. So maybe it's something that I will actually wear gardening or something like that. And I'm gonna tell you kind of my initial impressions on patches on hats using this heat press. Now, we're just going to be focusing on patches today. If you are looking for sublimation, iron-on, or DTF film, that will probably be down the line. But for just our initial review and setting this up, we are going to be using patches. So probably the most common use on hats. So let's jump right into this. Now, I did want to mention that Vevor sent me this hat press for me to give a review. Now, I do this a lot. This is not a sponsored review. This is not part of a campaign. I'm not paid for this. They just send me the machine so I can use it and give you guys my initial thoughts for it. So all these thoughts and opinions are my own and 100% honest. So when you open the box, you are going to have your heat press here. Now, this is actually closed. It's in the closed position. This is an auto press. So when you plug it in, you will be able to open it. You have your user manual. You're going to have your plug. And this will plug in right to the back of your hat press. And then it's going to have 3 platens. So we have a small, a medium size, which is already in here, and the larger size. So these are removable. You just have to loosen the bolts that are under this platen that's already installed. Okay, so let's get this plugged in and get it set up. This is going to be our control dial here for temperature and time. So just remove the plastic film that is on the screen. And then you'll want to plug this in. First, plug it in to the back of the machine. And then we're going to plug this in to a power outlet. So I just plugged this in, so you'll see we have our 3 dashed lines here. So it's showing me that it has power. When I press the power button, the top is going to open up. And this is an auto press, so it's going to open and close with this here. Okay. You press it once and it closes again. You can see it's already heating up here. So I'm going to open it again. Okay, so a long press to shut it off. Okay, I'm turning it clockwise and I'm getting my temperature. For a hat, you're usually around, let's put it around 305. Okay, we'll set that. I will say it's heating up very fast here. We're already at 276. So I was right. You're going to go to the left, and that is where we're going to get our seconds for the time. So let's set that to 30 seconds. And now look, we're almost at 3:05. It beeped twice three times when we get to 3:05. Actually, it just keeps beeping that you're at temperature. So let's get our hat ready to press. What I was talking about before here, there are two bolts that are on very tight. This is what holds the platen. So I would suggest maybe getting a pair of pliers or a wrench, and you can switch out the platens. I'll show you guys how to do that. What I did learn is to get it to stop beeping. If you press it once, it'll stop beeping for you. I have a thing about repetitive noises, so I needed to figure that out. So right now I have this set to 305 degrees. So I actually have my heat gun, my infrared gun here. I'll link this for you guys below. But when I get a new heat press, I like to test out that it's actually to temperature. So you can see it's 65.5 in here right now. I'm gonna go ahead. Okay, so it is a little off. I'm getting 292 degrees. Yeah, so 292 is what I'm getting, so it is slightly off. It's at 3:05, so we are about 13 degrees off from what it is actually saying that it is. Just something to note. So this is on really tight. I cannot get it off with my hands. I'm hoping. So I was able to get this front one loosened, but this back one here, I don't have enough space with either my pliers or my wrench. So I'm gonna have to wait a second. My boyfriend's coming up, so we're gonna see if he can loosen that back one for me. Once they're loosened, I don't think it will be a problem. I think they were just probably put on with a machine when they were built. So I'm just gonna find something else to do until he comes up. Okay, so Dan came and he loosened these up for me. So really, all this is a track. And then you tighten these bolts down here. Okay, so we're gonna take the medium size off. What I'm curious about, yeah, so this is actually wider than the heat element. So don't use this full width for what you want to put on your hat. Like if you're cutting out iron-on vinyl, use the actual width, a little bit less of the heat plate there. Okay, so all you can do is tighten these up. I'm not going to tighten them as much as it was from the manufacturer. So let's turn this on to get ready to press our hat. Okay, so this knob can get kind of difficult to spin. Very tight. I'm going to put that on 300. We're gonna let that heat up. Okay, so it's come to temperature, so it's gonna keep beeping until you hit it once. Now I am testing the temperature again now that we're actually gonna do this. Most patches on hats say 300 degrees Fahrenheit. But as you guys can see, I'm getting between right around 270 on the heat plate. And that is it with it fully heated to 300. So for the sake of testing this, I'm going to do it at 300. Now I'm using a hat that I got just at a conference I just went to. My thought is that these can cover it completely. So I'm going to use some heat resistant tape and add it to here, and then we're going to give it a press. Okay, so we have this taped with heat resistant tape, and this is the patch we're using. So we're going to place it on, I replaced this, it has the medium size platen. Okay, so I'm going to pull this down. Pulling the inside of the hat just makes this here flatter. Let me give you a better view of it. You can see here that this is sitting pretty flat on our platen. There are a little bit of wrinkles in this hat, so I'm just making sure those wrinkles aren't under our patch. Okay, so I'm just going to let this sit here for a minute or two. So I let this cool off for a few minutes. I'm removing the tape now. This feels like it's on there. The tape's on good and it's not picking it up. Let's see. I can't even tell that this was a hat, like a hat that already had stuff on it. Okay, so let's take a look at this. This actually came out really well. It is on here great. Even having that embroidery under it was a really great way to cover up the brand. Now, it doesn't really seem to be lifting off. This is a very cheap patch. I got it on Amazon. Do I think that this patch is probably going to last a bunch of washes? I'm not sure. But for an occasional hat use, it seems like it is on here pretty well. What do you think? Does it look good on me? I'm not much of a hat person. That's why I said maybe I would wear this gardening or on a dirty hair day. So now that we've made our hat, let's look at the pros and cons of this machine. So let's kind of digging into it a little bit. So this machine goes up to 410 degrees Fahrenheit, which is awesome. That being said, it is awesome because sublimation needs a higher heat. So if you are looking to sublimate hats, the fact that this goes up to 410, that is awesome. It's also really easy to switch between Fahrenheit and Celsius. And if you are doing sublimation, you know you need a longer timer. So this goes up to 999 seconds. Now, I have a lot of heat presses in my studio. I'm probably looking at a dozen just around me right now. So I will say this is the fastest heat press I have for heating up. It got hot really quick. I was actually surprised. I went off to do something else because usually that's when I do when things are heating up, and it was done in like half the time that I expected. It does have 3 different platens. You just unscrew the bottom here and you put on the size that you need. And it is at a very affordable price. It's under $120, which is great because it's an actual press. It's not like a handheld hat press. This is an actual press. You're looking for a press if you want like a more professional quality. That being said, let's look at some of the cons. So using the heat gun, we saw that we did not have consistent heat or the right heat to match our temperature gauge. So that being said, if you guys are doing heat press projects a lot, if you're running your machines like as they get older, I always suggest getting a temperature gun because you can keep an eye on your machine, know that it's giving an even heat, and you can adjust it up to the level that it needs to be. So you'll see that this can be a common problem with heat presses, especially that are at a lower price point. The other con is totally personal, and it's just the color. If you're an aesthetic girly like me, I like my teals, my blues, my periwinkles, my whites, all of my machinery that's in my studio just matches each other. So the orange one definitely feels more industrial, kind of sticks out for me. And then the other con would be, and I mean, this could just be me, but just switching out the platens when you initially open up the machine. I think that they were put on by a machine, so they are really tight. Make sure that you know when you're getting this all set up to maybe have a wrench or some pliers around so you can get them loosened up a bit. Once I did that, it's been really easy to switch these out. So overall, my main con is just that consistent heat. So who is this heat press for? I think this heat press is for a more home crafter or hobby crafter. I think this is a great budget-friendly starter if you're just getting into hats. I don't necessarily think this is for a small business owner that's going to be creating a lot of volume of product. And I say that because of the consistent heat. If you're going to be doing a larger volume of hats, I would probably invest in something a little bit more expensive. But for the budget hobbyist, this gets the green light for me. So I'm going to put the details for all of this below. I also have another video on a handheld heat press. So if you are looking for a different option just to do some research, I'll put that down in the description as well. Anyway, if you like this video, you want to see more from me, go ahead and smash that subscribe button. I do a lot of setups, reviews, general crafts, cricut crafts, sublimation, DTF, we do it all over here. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button and we will see you on the next video.